have been wanting to talk to our next guest for over a year. Actually, I'm going to say around a year and a half. So I guess that is over a year. Almost 2 years. He was signed by Bellator in November of 2014. And so maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's actually 2.5 years. Anyhow, he is considered one of the best and brightest young prospects in the sport. He has yet to fight in MMA, but he is no stranger to actual martial arts competition. He's obviously, as far as his wrestling is concerned, that is well documented. One of the greatest young wrestlers in the history of American wrestling, was also close to making the 2016 U.S. Olympic freestyle team. He would have been the first teenager in 40 years to make the U.S. Olympic freestyle team. Golden Gloves boxer, has been training at AK and other places for quite some time. He is just 20 years old, and on June 24th, he will be making his long-awaited, much-anticipated Bellator MMA debut on the pay-per-view portion of the MSG card against Zach Freeman. I'm talking about Aaron Pico, and he joins us right now on the phone. Aaron, are you there?
I'm there. How's it going, Ariel?
It's great to talk to you. Finally, I finally reached you. I finally tracked you down. This is very exciting, and everyone's very excited about your debut. Did you think, was this all part of the plan, that you would debut at Madison Square Garden of all places on a pay-per-view main card? Was this what was in the cards when you signed with Bellator?
Definitely. I mean, I knew there was always going to be something big. We were, sitting down and talking with Bellator. They always, said that they had some big plans for the future, especially when Scott Coker took over. And I feel really good. I feel to be at Madison Square Garden, I feel that's where I belong. I mean, I've been competing on the biggest stages all my life, and this is how I envisioned it. Being in Madison Square Garden on a pay-per-view card, and I know what I have to do. I'll go get it done for 24th.
And like I said, they signed you in November of 2014, and at that point, it kind of felt like, okay, we're still a few years away from you making your debut, although we all felt like this was a great signing. Good to have you part of the family. Why now? Why is this the time to debut? Is it because of MSG, or were you debuting around this time regardless of where, the June-July fight card was?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I was planning on debuting June, July. I mean, I had surgery about 10 months ago, so it was kind of put on hold. But after Olympic trials, I knew I was going to fight. And obviously, when I had my surgery, I was eyeing for June, July, and Madison Square Garden came up, and I thought it was a perfect opportunity to go and fight. Why not debut there? It's a good venue, and we're ready to go.
What was the surgery for?
I tore my ACL, my knee, so put me back obviously a few months. But like I said, I think it was a blessing in disguise. Honestly, I mean, I've been at it since I was honestly 5 years old, wrestling, boxing, doing all kinds of stuff. So I never had a big injury. So I had this year to just kind of rehab my knee, clear my head, get ready to fight, and it's crazy to see my numbers go up as far as strength before my surgery, and then see it now. It's just like my body needed time to heal, and I think it was the best thing that's happened to me. So now I think everything happens for a reason. Madison Square Garden came up, and now I'm getting ready to debut. So
it seems like you tore the ACL around last May, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Were you at all worried? I mean, sometimes that's an injury that can really derail someone's career. At the time, with so much on the horizon, were you worried that this might delay things, or maybe you wouldn't be able to fight? What was going through your mind?
No, I knew to stay. I mean, you looked at some of the best fighters, GSP, McGregor. They've all gone through ACL surgery and have come back from it. So I know not to panic. You start panicking, then stuff goes wrong. But I had a great doctor that did my knee, great physical therapist, and I took it one step at a time. My family was behind me 100%, and they knew what I had to do. So I took it as day after day. I listened to the doctor, did my recovery, watched my weight. That was a big thing, and I was fit even during surgery. I kept my weight down, kept in good shape. So it was. Like I said, I got stronger since the surgery, and my doctor said, "Man, this is the craziest recovery that I've ever seen."
Wow!
And a lot played into it. Like I said, my family really helped me out. I stayed disciplined on the diet. I knew what I needed to do, and it all worked out great.
I must say, I was a little surprised when I found out about your opponent because, you know, you've been competing for a long time, but never in MMA. And usually when someone makes their debut, especially with a name like yours, buzz that you have, you know, you'll fight another guy who's 0-0, 1-0. You're fighting a guy who's 8-2, Zach Freeman, who just fought in his last fight for the RFA title. No cupcake.
Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised when you got Freeman?
Not.
Or did you want this kind of competition?
Well, I wanted this competition. I train every day to be the best in the world, and I told everybody around me. I said, I don't want to go out there and fight a guy 1-2, 1-0. I want to go challenge myself, and I know what my abilities are. My trainers know what I can do, and a lot of people know what I can do. Here's the thing. A lot of people always say, oh, well, he hasn't had any MMA experience. He hasn't done all this. Well, I was doing pancration. I probably had over 50, 60 pancration fights. I had a bunch of amateur MMA when I was like 10, 11. I went to the European Championships for fighting. I had like 30 boxing fights, thousands of wrestling matches. So I've always knew MMA was in mind. I know I haven't had a professional fight yet, but I've been groomed and ready to fight. And I don't feel comfortable just going and fighting a guy 1-2. I want to put on a good entertaining fight for the fans, especially in Madison Square Garden. And they said, Zach Freeman, he's 8-2. He's fought for the RFA title. I said, let's do it. Let's do it. I feel confident. I know what I can do. I know what my abilities are. I know you can't take me down. I know you can't stand on his feet with me. I know you can't grapple with me. So I feel good.
You are a legit prodigy, and you don't hear about people like you with your background. You know, most people we hear about, like, okay, they just did wrestling and then they're going to transition. I mean, you are really doing it all as a very young kid. What is, like 11-year-old, 12-year-old Aaron Pico like? Like your friends are going to birthday parties and playing like in like rec league soccer, and you're traveling the world competing in these competitions. Did you have any friends? Did you even go to school?
No, for sure. I went to school and I had friends. I got to do it all. I mean, like I said, I come from a normal family. My mom's an RN. My dad sells medical products. I mean, I got to do it. I got to ride motorcycles as a kid and do all kinds of stuff. But my dad actually wanted me to ride motorcycles. He wanted me to be a dirt bike rider. But I tried it out for a little bit, but it wasn't my thing. I loved the combat sports. I was boxing, was wrestling, and I told him this is what I love to do. So I'm very supportive. I had my parents and my brother to just back me 100%. I had most part thing too, I had coaches that were there for me every day, and they saw the fire in me. They want to do good and go to practice and put everything I had into it. It's just something that I've always loved to do. It's always driven me to wake up and I knew I always put training first. And I know a lot of kids and a lot of parents thought like I was crazy, but now I'm older, and the things that I'm doing, everybody's like, man, that's crazy because you used to always be at practice. Now I can't go because I want to go to practice. But honestly, it was never like, oh, my parents are forcing me. It was like I wanted to be at the boxing club. I wanted to be sparring. I was sparring all over and going wherever I needed to go, traveling the world, trying to find the best competition. I thrived off of that, and it's paying off now.
When you were a youngster, did you have a singular dream or goal? Like you ask a young kid playing AAU basketball, what do you want to be when you grow up? NBA superstar. But since you were doing all these different disciplines that can lead to different things, wrestling, go to the Olympic team, get a gold medal, boxing champion, UFC champion. Did you have one singular dream, or were you thinking about many different things that you wanted to accomplish?
One thing that I used to always say, I used to always tell my mom, I want to be the champ of the world and fight on pay-per-view on the biggest cards in the world. I think that's what I would always tell them. And I said, that's what I'm striving to be the champ of the world in boxing, MMA. So that was always my goal. I used to always, watch the biggest fights. And I used to always, as a kid, remember when there was a big fight on and, there was a big boxing match, a big MMA, the feeling in the air, like, man, there's a big fight on today. I said, I always want to be that guy when there's a kid like me saying, man, Aaron Pico is fighting tonight. You can feel the tension in the air, like the excitement, ready to watch it. So that's what I've always wanted to do. I mean, I've always said I want to be on the pay-per-view when it's like the night of the big fight in the air and everybody's tuning in. So that was always, that drove me, and it's kind of crazy to now you're on pay-per-view on a big card, and it feels normal because I've envisioned it in my head, and I've always dreamt about it. I woke up, did what I had to do, and now it's here.
In Madison Square Garden, of all places. It's pretty amazing to hear you tell that story and to see what has become of your, fighting your career. You're debuting at MSG. Very few MMA fighters in the history of the sport can say that because, of course, New York is only new to the scene. But that is amazing. That is amazing to hear. Now, do you still hope to become a boxing champion as well?
Absolutely. I would love to. I mean, I'm sparring with some of the guys that you see on the HBOs. Top boxers there, a wild card, and I'm doing good right there. I'm, doing good with them. I'm seeing some of the best boxers in the world, and my hand speed's coming up, and I would love to do that one day, absolutely. And I feel I can do it.
Now, at the same time, do you feel like that's smart to do both at the same time, or would you like to have a run in MMA and then go to boxing, especially considering how young you are?
Yeah, no, for sure. I still got time to develop. I want to focus on my MMA career. This is what I need to focus on getting, and we'll take it one step at a time. Like I said, the first thing is Zach Freeman, June 24th. Go from there, and just at the end of the day, I just want to keep progressing as a fighter, all around fighter, whether it be the best grappler, boxer, MMA, kickboxer, just always progressing and keeping an open mind. And if I keep doing that, the cards will align for everything, but take it one step at a time.
Are you going to try out for the 2020 Olympic team?
We'll see. I'm not sure yet right now. I mean, like I said, there's so much. I'm still wrestling, obviously, because I need to keep those skills sharp. But the first things first right now is just focusing on my MMA. There's so much to learn in this game. That's what a lot of people don't realize. It's like, oh, do another cycle and then go to MMA. But this sport is evolving so much. There's so much to learn. You got the kids that are like me that are starting 6, 7 years old because they want to be MMA fighters. So there's so much to learn. I got, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing. So I got to focus on that right now, and then we'll see. But it'll be kind of hard. But like I said, MMA is evolving. So you better keep your skills sharp at all times because, you have these kids that are coming up nowadays that are they're gunning for guys like you, Considering how close you were to making the team in 2016, would you be okay if you never get that opportunity to compete in the Olympics, or do you think that that's something that is going to eat at you when you're a little bit older? I mean, definitely. I mean, you always have like, man, you're so close to doing it, but I'm doing what I love. I love fighting. I have a deep passion for it, and I'm having the time of my life being able to box and train and do all this stuff. So honestly, I haven't even really thought about it. I think with the MMA and all the stuff that I'm doing, like I said, the passion that I have for it, it's I'm doing what I love. So I haven't really thought about it too much. But maybe when I'm down the road, I'll be like, man, it was so close to making it. But like I said, my dream as a kid and everything has always been fighting on the pay-per-views, being champ of the world, holding the belt. That's always been a big dream of mine. So now it's here, and now I'm going to go get it.
Did you have a favorite fighter growing up?
Yeah, some guy. I mean, boxer or MMA?
How about both? MMA first.
MMA. GSP. I've always really admired GSP. I love. As a kid, I was always. I always liked the way he approached MMA. He was always very professional about everything, about even the clothes that he wore, to the training, going around the world to get the best training. And I've kind of always emulated that, and I've always done it. I've gone to Russia to train with the best wrestlers. I've gone to Ukraine, everywhere you could possibly go to find the best training partners. So GSP growing up, I really, really liked his approach to MMA, and his mind is just open to learning and learning and learning. I think that's what you do. And I've read his book. I really love his book. I always tell people that. It's something I always tell them is like, kind of try to keep it a secret because his book is so good. It's like, there's a lot of knowledgeable stuff in there, but
wow.
GSP for sure. Yeah.
Have you ever attempted to train with him?
I would love to. I've seen him at a couple of Bellator events and stuff like that. I've never met him, but I would love to train with him and pick his brain. And I mean, I could, I mean, I could help him with wrestling, and he can show me a bunch of stuff, and it would be great. It'd be an honor to do it. And I feel one day we'll link up somehow and do some training together. I'd love it.
And as far as training is concerned, I know you're somewhat of an AKA product, but I've seen you train with other people as well. Where will you train for this fight?
Well, my training is kind of different. I mean, it's kind of just tailored towards me, what I need to do. I mean, Bob Cook is my MMA coach. Bob's been coming down every week for like 3-4 days and spending time with me, reviewing MMA stuff, getting some things in. I've been doing my grappling with Eddie Bravo. I've been doing my striking with my coach Dominic. Been at Wildcard a lot, sparring over there. So I'll be, if I have to go up to AKA and get some few sessions in with Bob, that's what I'll do. But Bob's coming back and forth, and I have a lot of good training down here in Southern California. I've got great conditioning. So everything's, I like being at home, especially, but I got a lot of good stuff down here.
Oh, so you're actually going to stay
at what?
In SoCal. You're. I mean, if everything goes well, you won't actually go to San Jose to train there at the gym.
No, I'm gonna stay home. I mean, I'll make a few trips up there to train with some guys and Bob Cook, but Bob Cook is probably going to be spending a lot of time down here as well and helping me get ready for this fight.
Someone like Daniel Cormier, I would imagine, would take you under his wing, and I know he's spoken very highly of you, but considering the path that he went on as an Olympic wrestler and everything, has he been someone that are you the kind of guy that like is going to go up to the veterans and ask a lot of questions and try to get some advice from it? Are you that kind of guy? And if so, is he one of those guys that you've leaned on?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've liked the way that, Daniel Cormier has been able to transition to MMA. I mean, he started it so late, and for him to become champ of the world, like in the short amount of time that he did, absolutely. Whenever you're around those guys at AKA, why not pick their brain and figure out what has worked for them, what hasn't worked for them. It's all part of the process, because I sure don't know everything. So whenever I get the opportunity to ask somebody for a question, whether it be Luke, DC, Kane, anybody over there, absolutely, I love to pick their brain and show me. I've actually moved around with DC a few times, but man, that guy's pressure is so insane. It's like a semi truck just coming at you, and it's like nonstop. You can't even breathe because it's just always on you. And he enjoys that. He gets a kick out of that, freaking making people tired. But it's cool. Because I sort of have the same style. Go pressure, bam, the way he delivers his punches into takedowns. So I enjoy it. Anytime I get to be around those guys, it's always a pleasure. And you're going to fight at 155, right? Yeah, 155. I can go down to 45. I'm not that big, but 155 is good for me right now. I don't have to worry about my weight, cut a lot of weight. I just focus on my training, follow my nutrition program, and I don't have to worry about all the time, how's your weight? I can focus on my abilities, getting better, and do what I do. Last thing for you, Aaron. If someone asked you, okay, what's the perfect scenario, the sort of storybook ending to your MMA debut at MSG, a kid who's been dreaming about fighting on pay-per-view, the big fight, all this kind of buzz, it's all there for you. Is it a knockout? Have you thought about the perfect ending? And if so, can you share it with us? I think that's a question that a lot of people have wanted to know. I think you tune in June 24th on pay-per-view and you'll find out. That is a good salesman right there. You've got it. Even before your debut, you know how to keep us guessing. Now I will say this, and I won't just say it because I'm talking to you. I am as, if not more, intrigued by your presence on that pay-per-view card than anyone else on the card, and that includes Chael and Fedor. There's just so much buzz, so much intrigue surrounding you. To finally see it all unfold at MSG of all places is pretty damn special. So I can't wait for it. I love the fact that they put you on the pay-per-view against a non-cupcake-like fighter. And I'm really excited. I won't lie. I'm very excited about this. Everyone's been talking you up for so long. This is really cool stuff. I wish you the best. Great to finally talk to you. Good luck in training, and looking forward to seeing you out here in New York on June 24th. I appreciate it, Ariel. Thank you for having me on, and talk to you soon. All right, there he is, Aaron Pico. Remember the name. You've probably heard us talk about him. When they signed him in November of 2014, it was a really big deal. It's an even bigger deal now. He's finally making his debut, and this is something that Scott Coker and company have been doing for quite some time. Locate talent, pinpoint talent, not quite ready to make it to the big dance, but will be ready in, a couple of years or so. Build them up,
Give him the right kind of opponents, the right kind of platform, and now here we are. He's about to make his debut on pay-per-view at Madison Square Garden. If you talk to anyone from AK, Bob Cook, Javier Mendez, Cormier, Rockhold Kane, they glow when they speak about this kid. He really is a prodigy. So let's see. June 24th, 20 years old, debuting at MSG. Pretty amazing. Looking forward to it, him versus Zach Freeman. And Freeman's no joke. I mean, he's, you know, a younger fighter, of course, doesn't have a stellar record, but 8-2, just fought for an RFA title. Certainly not, you know, some kind of can that they're using to build up Pico.